The queen could not quite become the queen of the castle. Two-time Survivor winner Sandra Diaz Twine made it all the way to the finale of the Traitors, but was unable to seal the deal when eventual winners Chris C.T. Tombarello and Trishelle Canatella flipped their vote at the final banishment ceremony and eliminated Sandra instead of traitor Kate Chastain, whom they took out next at the truth ceremony. Even though Sandra did not take home a third reality TV crown, she may have cracked the code on a way to win the game by choosing to not target traitors, but instead get closer to them and their allies for protection. We spoke to the Survivor Queen to get her take on everything that went down, what would have happened had she made it out of that last banishment ceremony, and what we did not see on TV at the reunion. Why was there no sit-out bench on the Traitors? Sandra Diaz Twine, that is a good question. I would have really appreciated it. But even going back to Australian Survivor, I did participate in all but one challenge. So I've decided not to make a big deal out of not wanting to do missions or challenges. I just do and whatever happens, happens. And not put so much pressure on myself to perform and not stand out because then they'll be watching you. But in the Traitors on these missions, it was me, Phaedra, Kate, and MJ. We were awful a lot of the times, so I just blended in. How bummed were you to not be chosen as a traitor? I was very upset, and I assumed, and I told this to Parvati too, when they didn't pick me to be a traitor. When Alan did his roundtable, I was like, if he didn't pick me, I know for a fact he didn't pick Parvati. So, in a way, she was off my radar. I was still watching her because I put in my notes that I knew that she was a traitor, but I was bummed because I was like, I'm so ready for it. I think it would be very natural for me. So yeah, I was upset. And then throughout the series, anytime we banished someone, I always made it clear like, man, I hope they pick me as a traitor to anyone and everyone. Wait, you were telling them that you wanted to be picked as a traitor and get recruited? Yeah, because you never know who the traitors are. And we always thought from the jump that Alan had picked 3, and there was 1 recruited. So there was 4 running around the house, when it was really only 3. But I was always saying like, man, I would love to be a traitor. I think I'd be an awesome traitor. I really did my homework, blah, blah, blah. But it never happened. I was fascinated by what you did this season because while the name of the game seemed to be, find the traitors and get them out, you seemed to come up with an even more effective strategy of, find the traitors and get close with them so you don't get murdered. And you also have the votes to not get banished. Is that essentially what it was? Yes, because I had done my homework. Like I said, I had watched the New Zealand season, the UK, the Australian, that was really all that was out there for me to watch. And I couldn't watch the original Dutch one because they don't have subtitles. But essentially, as I'm watching, I'm realizing that the people that are close to the traitors don't get murdered or banished. So I'm like, okay, now I know how I'm going to get to the end. But then, at the end, you still got to be on because you want to make sure anyone that you suspect is eliminated. If you have any sense of doubt about any person at all, don't risk it. Take him out. So I was like, that's what I'm going to do. I know my social game is good. I'm going to get along with the faithfuls and the traitors. Everyone's going to be my friend. Why do you think CT changed his mind and banished you instead of Kate? Did he really think you were a traitor? So when I said to Phaedra during the crossbow mission, take out Trishelle, because I wanted CT to get the shield, I'm saying it in front of CT, who I think isn't paying attention. Phaedra didn't ask me anything. We just made eye contact and I'm like, yeah, go take out Trishelle way at the bottom. And then Phaedra goes and does it, right? I didn't think nothing of it since I'm not a traitor. I don't assume that he's saying, oh, that was traitor behavior. Now he's in the castle telling Trishelle, Sandra did this with Phaedra and we already know Parvati's a traitor. So could Sandra be that 4th traitor we're looking for because we're looking for another traitor? So when I saw that, I was like, oh my God. That's when I finally made a mistake as a faithful. Just an innocent mistake, and only because I wanted him to get the shield versus Trishelle or John. He would have benefited, which he did. But still, that relationship between CT and Trishelle was bigger than anything else in that house. And we overlooked that at times. So when Kate now is throwing me under the bus, Kate told me that CT wanted to eliminate me the whole way to the mission and the whole way back. It's obvious that it was her, but I'm sure also he already felt it from the episode before. So I think there was still some doubt there. How awkward was that first greeting between you and Parvati in the castle, or if you saw her on the way to the castle before that? I actually saw her in the vehicle first. Peter was in the window, and I was next to Peter, and she was in the window of her car. And she's looking out of her window to the left, and I'm looking to the right, and she's looking, and she's so happy, and she sees me, and I see her. and my smile was gone. And I just reach across the glass there, and I just point my finger like I was touching her face. I was just like, why? I suspected there would be another survivor, like Siri and Stephanie, so Sandra, and who was the other person? Rumor was it was Boston Rob, but we know he was filming Deal or No Deal Island. Why did it have to be her? I was like, we're not going to get along. And then Peppermint was in my car, and she watches everything reality. She knew me and Parvati had history. She put us together in the room, and we squashed it. And I never looked back after that. I wasn't looking over my shoulder. I was always watching, but she wasn't my priority in the castle. Not at all. And I have a strong social game, and I would hear them talking about her when she walks in and walks out. And she's another one that doesn't say too much, always making the faces. So I didn't want to always be known as it's always Sandra and Parvati together. That was not the case. If there's someone that's going to throw her under the bus, it would probably be me first. But that wasn't the situation out there. We were getting along.